All right, guys, give this a few minutes while we get some people coming on in here. And while we're looking at this, we're going to give you a view of the satellite currently. We'll get into things here in just a second. So, as we get people coming on in. So what you're looking at here, this is water vapor imagery that we are seeing via satellite. And you can see the big storm off the East Coast right now. Like I said, giving it some time, giving some people time to get in here. The other thing is, this time I think I've kind of figured out YouTube Live finally. If you guys have, I have the chat open on my other computer, so if you see me glancing over to the left or typing or something, feel free to say something or ask a question in chat. I'll try to get to it if I remember to look over and see it. Anyways, of course, everybody knows today is Groundhogs Day, and so nothing nothing greater than trusting a rodent to predict your forecast. But so looking, just for fun, looking at Groundhogs Day, breaking it down. This is a great graphic from the National Weather Service that they shared. The groundhog is predicted. Phil has predicted 19 times that we would have an early spring. Where he's seen his or hasn't seen his shadow. He has predicted 104 times that since he saw his shadow, that we would have more winter. Interesting thing is, he's correct 39% of the time, and 36% of the time since 1969. But he's actually more correct when he sees his shadow. So when he predicts an early spring, he's actually correct 47% of the time. So interesting little data there on the Groundhog's Day, kind of the little lore associated with that. And you can see here's some of the data from 2010 to 2019. You guys can find this at the National Weather Service if you want to, if you Google like Groundhog's Day National Weather Service or something like that. It usually, I think, is the first one to pop up. So some fun there on Groundhog's Day, since that is today. Of course, today he did see his shadow, so he went back in, and we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter, I guess. I don't know. So whatever. All right, so going on over and taking a look, let's get back to the satellite view of things. And you can see here's our big storm finally exiting the eastern portions of the United States. It dumped heavy snow all the way from the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, all the way into the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. And if we take a look at the 72-hour observed snowfall analysis here, you can see the heaviest snowfall out into eastern PA, back out into New Jersey and New York, where there were some places out there that saw 30 plus inches of snowfall with this system. So I mean, it's been, it dumped a lot of snow. And so there is some places out here. I'll zoom in a little bit, and you can kind of see some of the better snowfall rates there, or some of the better snowfall accumulations. You can see 18 to 24, even 24 to 30 plus out here in some locations into looks like eastern Pennsylvania and those areas. So I mean, some very heavy snowfall out there. Very impressive system. It ended up being a very impressive system, and kind of what we figured it would be. So let's go on over. Let's talk about. There's a lot of things we can talk about here as we work into the next few days. And we're going to talk about, as far as the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes are concerned, we're snowfall and the possibility, or not the possibility, the incoming very cold air. So here's the upper levels. This is upper level high and vorticity. And you can see here's our system off the East Coast today, finally kind of slowly meandering its way out of here. And then as we start to work on into tomorrow, here's our next area of troughiness coming on down. And this will start to spread the chance of some snow and some rainfall out across the Ohio Valley into the Midwest as we start to head on into Thursday, as this wave of energy starts to swing on through. And then as we continue on into Friday, we've got another wave of energy coming in as we work. This is, let me back this up a little bit. As we work into Saturday morning, and then notice as we get into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, here comes another wave of energy down across the forecast area. This one could produce snowfall across the region. It's obviously still too far out to be putting numbers on it exactly, but some accumulating snowfall definitely possible across portions of the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley as we head on into the weekend. And then we get on into Sunday, that system exits, and you can see as we work on into Monday, there's another little wave coming through as we work into early next week. That one's pretty weak, it looks like. And then we continue into Tuesday, going into Wednesday. Overall, these next several days here, probably really this next week or so, across the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, are going to be pretty active. I mean, it's going to be very active with snow chances. It's going to be very active with cold. And so if we go on over and take a look here at the GFS, so this is the upper level height anomaly, 500 millibar height anomaly. I'll back this up. Here's today. Of course, there's our big storm out here. You can see this nice big block to the north of the storm. And as we continue on into Thursday, and here's our trough coming in here for Thursday. This is our initial trough coming in. And so as we work on into Thursday, there's that system. But then watch what happens. Look at this big block coming off of Greenland up here. This is a very impressive block as we get on into the Friday and Saturday time frame. So when you get this big block up here, it's going to drive cold air to the south. So as we work into Saturday, going into Sunday, notice these upper level height anomalies really just dropping as you work into the upper Midwest and into the northern plains. And as we continue into Sunday, you can see that pushing down across the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. And we're going to have extremely cold air, probably for a lot of us, especially across the Ohio Valley into the Great Lakes. This is going to be pretty close to, if maybe not the coldest air we've seen so far into the winter. It's hard to believe that, as far as meteorological winter is concerned, we've only got a month of it left. But February's pulling out all the stops here. It's getting cold here as we work into February. We continue into Monday, going into Tuesday. There's the troughiness lifting up. Still just an incredible block here up across the northern portions of Canada up into the Arctic Circle. And so impressive upper level height anomalies there. And that will continue to probably drive some systems into at least across the United States. So taking a look here, I'll swing on over and we'll pull up the precipitation type. And again, I'm not going to get too much into snowfall totals at this point because, like I said, we'll talk a little bit about Thursday. But beyond that, it's still, we're far enough out that nothing's set in stone by any stretch of the imagination. So tomorrow, you can see that we've got an area of high pressure building in here. So that's going to give us pretty quiet skies tomorrow into Thursday. But then here comes our next area of low pressure coming into the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley as we work into Thursday. And I wish I had a drawing tool on this app, but we have a cold front coming down. You can see it kind of right through here, down across portions of the Ohio Valley. We got snow associated with the low and north of the low where the colder air resides. And overall, this is going to be a pretty warm low pressure system. As this comes in, we're going to see warm air advecting out ahead of it and will warm us up midweek. And as we work into Friday, that moves on through. And then as we work on into Saturday, of course, that cold air moves on in. Well, here's another low coming through as we work Saturday. So the chances of snow there, perhaps another snow event or another, out here across the Northeast once again. And then we continue on into next week. You can see there's that little weak system we were talking about coming through as we work into early Monday. And then beyond that, there's some more, there's a few systems on the horizon, but the possibility for additional snowfall across the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes definitely exists as we work on into the next 7 days. It's just a question of where and how much, and that's something that'll have to be answered as we get closer to that time frame. So going on over, the other thing here, look, these are the temperature anomalies. I'm going to show these. So as we work on into Thursday, you can see, like I said, out ahead of that system as it comes in here on Thursday, you can see the warm air spreading out as we head to the east of the cold front and to the east of the low pressure center. And as we continue on into Thursday, let's play find the cold front here. I'm sure you can. Because you can see, this is a very sharp gradient where we're, we'll say Terre Haute, Indiana is 13 degrees above normal, and these are Fahrenheit temperatures, not Celsius. But you go out into like Springfield, and it's 3 degrees below average. So, this is a big gradient as we work Thursday into Friday with that cold front coming on through. And you can see it continues off to the east, and as we work in the Friday, cold air starts to spill down into the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. And as we continue on into Saturday with that big trough coming in, really look at this cold air. Now, are we going to achieve 45 degrees below average in Dubuque? I don't know about that. Keep in mind models are somewhat biased, so you have to account for that. And you have to kind of make a better forecast than just looking at this data and saying, oh, well, the model's biased, but we're going to use it anyway. So, it's probably not going to be that much below average, but you get the idea that, it's going to be very cold as we head on into Saturday, going into Sunday, coming across, really the northern plains, central plains, and especially out across the northern plains, upper Midwest, portions of the Great Lakes, down into the Ohio Valley. And as we continue into Sunday and then going on into Monday, you can see that cold air still around as we work into early next week. Obviously, when it's that cold, it takes, it wants to stick around. And as we work through the end of that next week into that weekend, so, we may have a longer period, a longer duration of some cold air that kind of sticks in place here across the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Midwest regions as we head beyond really the middle portions of next week, or of this week rather. And for some reason in my mind, I'm thinking it's Friday. So speaking of snowfall, so this is just an idea at the snowfall on through for this like Thursday, Friday system. And you can see the best chances of snowfall reside up here into Wisconsin, Michigan, up into the UP, where there's going to be, maybe over 6 or 8 inches into the UP. And then down here across Wisconsin, more like 4 to 7 inches looks a little bit more common and less as you head to the south. This is just the National Weather Service forecast with this. This isn't like our official forecast or anything. So it's just kind of a glance at it as we head into that time frame, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're expecting. The other thing I wanted to look at here, so these are meteograms. So this is basically just the GFS, and it's plotting high-low temperatures over the next couple of weeks here. And I just wanted to show you a few cities here to discuss the cold air. This is Indianapolis. And you can see the GFS predicting a high of 44 on Friday. Well, I would say that would probably come early and the temperatures would fall through the day in Indy. But notice, you're seeing temperatures dropping all the way down to potentially 11 degrees on Monday, sticking into the teens next week. That's air we have not seen here in central Indiana. And then we do warm back up into the 30s as we head towards the end of that week, towards Valentine's Day weekend, I guess. And if we look at a couple other cities here, we can look at Chicago. If there's any certain city people watching want to see, I'll try to find it. I don't know all the METAR codes right off the top of my head. So this is Chicago. Keep in mind this is the GFS, so this is not perfect, but you get the idea. Very, very cold air. If I go on over and take a look at I was trying to see if I could find, I don't know how far this one goes out. Yeah, you can see this is the NWS forecast for Chicago, and you can see, this is very cold air, 7 for your forecast high on Sunday via the NWS, and you've got sub-zero temperatures in Chicago. If we take a look here, we can go up to Detroit, and you can see again cold air into Detroit, into the teens as we head towards the end of the weekend, into the start of next week. We can go up into, let me see if I can find Green Bay. I'll show you guys Green Bay as well. I haven't even seen Green Bay. Let me see. I don't know what their official let's do Wausau. There we go. Here's Wausau. And so this is kind of north central portions of Wisconsin. You can see very cold there. NWS forecasting 4 below for the high on Sunday. So that's kind of the idea we have here as we head into the weekend. It's going to be really, really cold across the region. Like I said, the coldest air of the season. The other thing to consider too is a lot of this snowfall that we've seen so far this year is very heavy and wet, and it'll probably be heavy and wet Thursday with what comes through. But if these systems on through the weekend end up verifying with this very cold air in place, this is going to be a lighter, more fluffy snowfall. It's going to be a drier snowfall than what we've seen, so it'll kind of blow around and drift around as well. So for the folks that do, if they do end up seeing snowfall this weekend, that'll be another thing to keep in mind. So anyways, that's kind of what we're looking at here today. I just wanted to do kind of a quick live look at things and kind of discuss what's going on, especially as we go into the weekend time frame with that extremely cold air coming down into the region down across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, a large chunk of the eastern portions of the United States eventually. So everybody, thanks for logging on, and have a good evening, and we'll let you know next time we do this. Of course, make sure if you want to be alerted, make sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook. We also have LinkedIn, pretty much all the social media venues and outlets we're involved in. And so subscribe, and check us out, and we'll keep you posted. You can find lots of good information on our social media platforms. So, all right, everybody, have a good evening, and we'll talk to you next time.